Nintendo present next system can be described as a Switch next model. So Nintendo is basically just taking a smartphone approach to this. I wonder if Nintendo will still make games for the original Switch. Because people are always talking about Nintendo's gonna eventually stop making games for the original Switch. Okay, but how the way Nintendo is describing it is something different. That the so-called Switch successor will be which means as the console is brand new or something else, it is the Switch's next model is an appropriate way to describe it. So basically, whether lots of hardware tells for pursuing innovation over for simple updates, for example, the Wii U. But again, I think Nintendo would say, you know what, we don't need no innovation. Okay, let's just continue with what's been working. Well, I think Nintendo is finally realizing this, because Nintendo, ever since the N64 era, has been doing this stupid type of stuff, okay, with the consoles. We're not talking about handles, because technically the Game Boy Advance, and then it changes to the DS, the 3DS, and then of course the Switch is technically an evolution of the 3DS. Okay, Nintendo has always, but again, still remain the handheld consoles. Okay, but Nintendo is done with the whole innovation stuff, as they realized last time it failed many times with Nintendo's stubbornness and Nintendo's refusal to go along with everybody else. Okay, the N64 failed because of the cartridges. They refused to use discs, and then the GameCube, they refused to use normal discs. They used the tiny discs. The Wii, that was actually successful, but the Wii U, they wanted to say, oh, it's a Wii, but you have a game, you have a tablet, and nobody cared. And then they finally said, the Switch, you can play games on TV and on the go. You can do both. And then people were like, oh my god, this is such a cool thing. And even if, the reason why the Switch isn't a powerful console is because handheld consoles are not very powerful. Okay? Especially considering the Switch came out in 2017. I think the Switch will probably be on par with, the PS4 and Xbox One, which is still really good, because there are games that can still release in the PS4 and Xbox One next-gen games with no problems. Okay? Graphics has not always been Nintendo's concern. It has been getting the widest amount of people possible, and I think Nintendo has kind of failed with that until the Switch era. They did pretty well with the Wii and DS era, but the Switch era, I think they have finally found something that works, is why they're not doing it like they used to, let's just innovate and create something new. They're saying, it's gonna be like the PS2, the Switch 2, PS3, PS4, PS5, because without just newer, updated models of the previous console, or how Xbox does it, where it's just a newer, updated model of a previous console. So, even if the design is a bit different with the Xbox Series X and S, it's still a new model of an old console. Okay, they already know what works, and I think Nintendo finally realizes this and sees this. They had this going with the 3DS and DS, and the Game Boy Online as well. But it seems that Nintendo is gonna say, yeah, this is just the Switch, but it's more powerful. Kind of like you gain a new phone, and it'll probably be backwards compatible with all the old games as well. So that's about this video here. Goodbye.